Sugar, Whiskey Alpha 2, Tango Delta Lima.
Yeah, Whiskey Alpha 2, Tango Delta Lima. I think I got that right. This is Whiskey Baker 9 Delta Zulu Sierra. My name is Tom. Tokyo Oscar Mike. The handle here is Tom, Tokyo Oscar Mike. And I'm located in Chesterfield, Virginia. Chesterfield, it's about 10 miles south of Richmond, Virginia. Got a real nice signal. I'll give you a report next time. Wonder how you're copying me. WA2TDL, WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra.
Great. WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra, Whiskey Alpha 2 Tango Delta Lima. Great, Tom. The name here is Rick. Radio Italy Canada Kilowatt. And you have a great signal too. I think your carrier is about an S9 here. Located up near Buffalo, New York, and just east of there in the suburb called Clarence, like the man's name, Clarence, New York. The name is Rick, and I don't operate AM, but I've got this KX3 that I fired up on AM here, and I'll explain that to you next go around. WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra, WA2TDL.
Yeah, real good, Rick. The real good sound there on the KX3. Nice AM quality on that. I don't know that I've heard K3s, K3Ss, but I don't think I've heard a KX3 before on AM. And we're using a Flex radio here. It's an old Flex 5000A. And I'm driving that to an Expert 1.5 KFA amplifier. And see, we're hitting about, I don't have it up all the way, about 1.2 to 1.3 kilowatt output on voice modulation peaks. The carrier I don't understand on this amplifier. On my old Alpha 374, you put down a 375 watt carrier and get 1.5 modulation peaks on the watt meter. On the Expert shows about 90 watts a carrier with full output. So, that's a lot of headroom. I don't know, I don't know why that is, or whether the watt meter on the LD Moss amplifier here doesn't read the carrier right, but I do believe and have measured the output power as being accurate out of the amp on the voice peaks. There, I believe it is, because if I shouldn't say I measured it on my amplifier. I should try it on the Bird 43. But if I go any higher, it'll trip out the overdrive protection will kick in, or overpower. So I assume that's right. The only time that happens if I exceed the full legal limit on output. So the antenna's a half wave off-center fed dipole. It's up about 70 feet. The center point in a inverted V configuration is up 70 feet. The ends are a lot lower, probably about 30 feet. And I got two of these. I got, I think you're stronger on this one. I have, this is an 80 through 10. It's cut for about 80 meters. And the other one I have is cut for 160. They're about 100 feet or so apart. WA2TDL, WB9DZS.
Yeah, great Tom. WB9DZS, WA2TDL. Sounds good, Tom. And your kilowatt of RF energy to the off-center fed is doing great. No problems copying at all. Yeah. So here's this. The KX3 is a QRP rig. So let's see. I've got like 700 milliwatts from the QRP rig, and that is driving a small solid-state amplifier to about, well, the thing is saying, 30 watts PEP, something like that. And that's driving a 10-tech Hercules 2 amplifier. And about 200 watts carrier is showing on the watt meter here. I don't know what that means. And on voice peaks, it's showing about 100 watts. So I don't know as I'm an accurate assessment of my signal either. But if you tell me that the audio sounds okay, then I'm just not going to worry about it. And if the signal's okay, then I don't care. Just that the KX3 is barely putting out any power, so plenty of headroom there. And not driving this little solid-state amplifier. It's called a Hard Rock 50. It's made for QRP rigs, and so a lot of headroom there. And then the Hercules 2 amplifier can put out about 500 watts for a while. And so I'm not driving it very hard. I'm actually using a car battery to power that. I was looking around. I wasn't too satisfied with what I could find in the way of a 100 amp power supply to power that thing. That's what I'd want. I'd want a power supply that's about 100 amps, because I don't want the power supply to be, hard pressed to power that. So I've got a car battery, and when that thing starts to go down, then I just charge it up, that's all. And it seems to work great. The antenna here is a 2-element delta loop. It's two delta loops driven in phase. And the sweet spot is southwest from here, so you're not exactly in the sweet spot. You're sort of off to the side there in Chesterfield, Virginia, but it usually will beat the off-center fed dipole in your direction, even though you're not in the sweet spot there, Tom. So I'll send it back over to you. Oh, by the way, it's a beautiful day here. It's about 80 degrees and a little bit of a breeze. The humidity is low, and just a perfect summer day here in Western New York. WB9DZS, WA2TDL.
WA2TDL, WB9DZS. Oh, real good, interesting. With the intermediate amp. And I wasn't sure as to whether the car battery is used for both amplifier or just the small amplifier. I assume it's just used on the I get a headset. I get a little bit noise from that. I assume it's just for the small amp. I use a Dentron. I use a Astron 35M old style power supply. I've had that since the 1980s, probably early mid 1980s. And then pretty much continuous operation. Let me, wow, hold on a sec. I don't know if that's, I don't think that's getting through. I think it's just my loose connection on my headset. Thought that was coming out on the output. So I should be okay. It's gone away anyhow. And that easily handles the 100 watts out of my transceivers. I got the Flex 5000A and also an ICOM IC9100. I think your audio sounds so well because it has a fairly wide pass band on it. It's hard to tell with this, the noise and whatever. I think you're at least 7 kilohertz in total bandwidth, which is pretty good. It looks similar to maybe like an ICOM IC7300 in terms of the width of the transmit signal. And if you get that much, they usually sound fairly well. My 9100 on AM does not do as good. I get maybe 5 to 6 kilohertz max. And, I get to tune it up with the amp, get a great carrier, but I just can't get any kind of voice modulation peaks. It's just too narrow. And so I get kind of a minimum communications quality audio. The Flex does much different. I'm running about 10 kilohertz right now, both TX and receive filters. And the 2-element loop sounds great, wonderful antenna. And I'm sure it would be even better if it was a little more favorable. I like loops. It's nice to have a quiet antenna. I listen to these guys on 40. All the big guns out west and stuff, and working DX, and they got these tremendous antennas on very tall towers, and they can hardly hear anybody because of the static crashes. The guy is, like S3 5/9, and it makes me wonder why they don't use a separate receive antenna that has a lower noise factor. I know it's hard to put up a quad loop or, cubicle quad on 40. But just like you have a loop antenna, the one guy's got about 10 or 11 towers, and you'd think you'd get a good loop towards South Africa on that. I think it'd really help them out. But a lot of these really high gain Yagis that just pick up so much noise. So your verticals seem to do the same. So you got a big advantage, especially on 40. WA2TDL, WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra.
Yeah, that's great, Tom. WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra, WA2TDL. I've got a bit of I said that I don't operate AM, and it's true. I can't remember the last time I was on AM, but I thought I would check out this KX3 and see how it works on AM. And so thanks for the good report. I don't have anything adjusted here for optimum audio at all. Like, I don't know how high my microphone should be. I just increased my microphone from value of 30 to 40 right there. 30 to 40. Now I just increased it from 40 to 50. And now I'm going to go back down to 40. Now I'm back down to 40. And then I'm going to go back to where I started at a value of 30. So maybe you could comment on what sounded good there. And then when it comes to compression, I don't think I can adjust that while I'm transmitting. I would have to unkey and change that. But I got that set to a value of 20. It's not high. So, but I've got headphones on, and I can hear myself breathe in between words through the headphones, so I'm wondering if the compression is set too high. Probably is. About the antenna, the delta loops are upside down. So there's like a 42 feet on a side, is it? Something like that. So if you can hang a dipole, you can certainly hang one of these. It'd be like 42 feet wide. And, you know, you got to get it up there high enough so that the apex isn't on the ground. But the apex is at the bottom where the balun is and the feed point. And it works very well that way. They're horizontally polarized, so they're exceedingly quiet compared to dipoles or, like you're saying, Yagi antennas. I tried phased dipoles, and they were noisy. They were noisy. Years back, I had phased F-squares. I had 2 F-squares in phase. The reason I did that was to get rid of the European QRM at night. The buzzsaw, the warbler, you know, whatever junk was coming from across the pond. And I could get an extremely high front-to-back ratio. The signals, I mean, it didn't work so great, you know, here in stateside, but on those signals, I could get like a 45 dB or so front-to-back ratio, just knock them right down, and I could operate to the west and not even hear that garbage. Yeah, but now those things are gone. So some years back, I went to the phase delta loops, and you're right, it's just a great antenna. Anyway, thanks for the report on this signal there. Okay, 7 kilohertz, I guess that's all right. Let's see, maybe you can comment on what my microphone settings did there, if anything. And then, if it's okay with you, then I'll try increasing the drive from the KX3. But I'll send it back to you there, and wonder what kind of day you're having there in terms of your weather, Tom. WB9DZS, WA2TDL.
KA7RCN.
I got K7 breaking as well. We'll pick you up in just a second. I recorded that while you were, fortunately, like you were doing it. Actually, I have the whole QSO being recorded with the screen capture on my Power SDR software from my Flex radio. And I will post that on YouTube after we sign. And I'll send that to your email if your AOL email account is still good, and you can listen to the whole thing, so you'll be able to judge all this for yourself. But I also recorded on the Flex just a bit of that last transmission. Let me play that back for you here right now, and you could tell I liked 40 the best setting on the mic. When you went to 50, you could hear the background noise. When you see the video on YouTube, you also will be able to see your signal. You'll see the width of it. I have both the pan adapter and waterfall simultaneously split on the screen, so you'll be able to visually see your signal as well as listen to it. Here's a bit of that last recording.
And see how it works on AM, and so thanks for the good report. I don't have anything adjusted here for optimum audio at all. Like, I don't know how high my microphone should be. I just increased my microphone from value of 30 to 40 right there. 30 to 40. Now I just increased it from 40 to 50. And now I'm going to go back down to 40. Now I'm back down to 40. And then I'm going to go back to where we started at a value of 30. So maybe you could comment on what sounded good there. And then when it comes to compression,
Okay, hang on a second. I gotta. See what's going on here. I messed something up, but go ahead and take it. You might want to pick up the N7, WA2TDL, WB9DZS.
Southeast Ohio, and just sitting here listening. The gentleman running the KX3, I too made a recording. I won't bore you with it. Anyways, just thought I would say hello. You're sounding. I can't stay long, but it sounds very nice. It sounds very nice on the little KX3. I'm running a Flex 1500. A Flex 1500 here. Similar to what you're doing, up to about the 100-watt level carrier. So that's all I had to say. I'll jot down your call. My name is Mike, located in Renard Mills, Southeast Ohio. This is KA7RCN. Over.
Yeah. Okay, Mike. Kilo Alpha 7 Radio Charlie N. From WA2TDL, yeah. And okay, Mike, that's great. You have a great signal here, coming in really strong, and the audio is crisp. It's full range of frequencies. Yeah, fully modulated. Really sounds good. And thanks for the comments on the KX3. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I wanted to, before I forget, I wanted to answer your question there, Tom, about what I'm using the car battery for. The car battery is powering the amplifier, the Hercules 2, the Ten-Tech Hercules 2, and I just charge it up when it starts to run down. It's like a 10-year-old battery, and it does go down pretty quick, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see trying to get the matching power supply for that, because it's going to be old and it's going to blow up the day after I get it. So car battery that gets charged now and then seems to be the best. And hey, a car battery can put out like 500 amps. So there's very little voltage drop, I would think. But this battery here that I'm using, I can tell that there's a pretty significant voltage drop on peaks. So I know it's old and it's ready to head for the recycling bin. Anyway, I'll send it over to you there, Tom, so you can comment on Mike's signal, and I would imagine you're hearing him pretty well too. WB9DZS and KA7RCN, WA2TDL.
Yeah, WA2TDL. Everything's back to normal now. KA7RCN, WB9DZS. And Mike, you're coming in fine, real good audio, nice strong S9 signal as well. So very good. I'm not going to be able to hold it too long. I have a significant health condition here, and this is my voice may sound stressed, but this is about as good as it sounded in the last few months. And I get easily out of breath, and this is about the longest I've been able to go in the last few months on a single QSO. So we're happy about that, but I don't want to push it too long. Gotta take right here the gas for breath in between the words at times. And Mike, your Flex sounds great. These first generation Flex equipment really do a great job on AM. And I love the power SDR, I would have considered upgrading to a newer technology flex, but from what I've seen from Smart SDR and some of the forums, I read ham radio forums on the flex equipment, you're not real, I would have been too nervous, I think, to upgrade. And at this stage of my life, it doesn't matter now. Anyhow, I'm just real fortunate to have the flex. It's nice to have a backup radio. You have a computer problem or you're doing updates or whatever, I always can go to my ICOM. So anyhow, I'll probably make this my final. Kind of feel it coming on. I'll listen out and we'll go ahead and turn it back to Mike. I wonder how much power you're using, Mike, and if you gave the antenna. I was trying to see what was wrong on that last transmission, and apparently when I hit the record playback, it left some kind of residual noise on my signal. Didn't quite seem right. And I noticed on the playback on the it looked like it was about half power I was transmitting, but it sounded like your original transmission. I couldn't tell the difference here. So I hope you got a taste of what you sounded like, and if not, you'll see the whole thing end to end on YouTube later this afternoon if you like. So go ahead and take it, Mike, and you can turn it back there to Rick. KA7RCN. This will be WB9 Delta Zulu Sierra, Chesterfield, Virginia. Clear and listening. Go ahead.
Bravo 9 Delta Zulu Sierra in Chesterfield, Virginia. That's Tom. He's running a Flex 5000A and about maybe 100 watts carrier, and he thinks he's getting like about a kilowatt of RF energy on voice peaks to an off-center fed dipole, and that's his story there. Back to you, Mike.
You came down 5 kilohertz, Rick. We were on 7280.
I went down and I didn't hear us call, but anyways, okay, I got the gist of this operation, Flex 5000 and the wattage and so on. Yeah, very good. Very nice to meet you there, Tom. And in Chesterfield, I believe, Virginia. It's a very hot and muggy day here in southeast Ohio. I'm probably just between Marietta and New Metamoris on Route 26 out here in the country. I relocated here from Washington. I bought this farm. It's an old farm. And I just took occupation of it about a month and a half ago, and so we're just working our way around the edges here to see what we can and cannot do. And there's a lot that I cannot do here because I'm not a farmer, but I have to manage just things just well. It's actually nature pretty much takes care of a lot of things other than the weeds, but it works quite nicely here. Anyways, the rig is a 1500 Flex driving a small homebrew double pilled transistorized amplifier, and that's driving an AL80A at about 85 to 100 watt carrier. The antenna now is a very substandard antenna. It's an end-fed. It's about a 75 to 85 feet, somewhere in there. End-fed wire with a 9-to-1 union. A 9-to-1 union. And with a triple Toro core. be the one using and feeding the long wire. I have plans to put up a loop, a large 160 meter loop, but I'm going to have to wait for it to cool down a little bit. So I won't, that's the gist of it, fellas. My name is Mike and located here in Southeast Ohio. Very nice strong signal there from you, Rick. I'll jot down, I just got a new notebook here, so I'm going to use this. This is my log book. I don't have electronic logging. In fact, my internet is down. I'm not very happy with the HughesNet thing here. I had it put in, and I think I spent more time on the phone than I have the internet with problems with it. But anyways, let me see. Rick, how do you copy? You have a nice, you have a really nice pattern there on your, with no adjustments. You're doing really well. So WA2TDL, Rick, I believe that's correct. Please take it, and if Tom is signing, please repeat his call one more time since I goofed up. This is KA7RCN, Southeast Ohio listening.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, Mike. No, I don't think you goofed anything. I looked at the radio and suddenly I was 5 kilohertz lower than I was before. So,
frequency you use, can you move up a little bit, please?
I think it was my fault.
WA2FMU.
Call is Whiskey Bravo 9 Delta Zulu Sierra. I don't know how, I must have accidentally hit the button on the microphone and I jumped 5 kilohertz. That's all I can guess. Whiskey Bravo 9 Delta Zulu Sierra. And Tom, thanks so much for the QSO 73s, and we started on 7280 and wound up on 7275.
Yeah, frequency you use, can you guys move up a little, please?
Totally
W2FMU.
And hopefully you found us okay. Back over to you, Tom. 73s.
Yeah, there was a station that broke in there a couple of times saying there's a sideband station that was just low. It was probably on, I don't know what it was on, but I adjusted my filter to cut it out. But he came on and said we were interfering. So I'm signing. You guys might want to go, if you're going to continue, go back on up to, I think if you go back up to 7280, you won't be interfering with him. 73, and Rick, thanks for coming back to me. And Mike, we appreciate you coming back as well. You're sounding really good in here. You're both in the S9 range. So 73, WA2TDL in New York, and KA7RCN in Ohio. This is Whiskey Bravo 9 Delta Zulu Sierra, Chesterfield, Virginia, clear.
73, Tom.
Yes, 73s to you there, Tom. Rick, do you want a QSY back to 280, over?
Yes, let's do that. Hello, Alpha 7, Radio Charlie November, WA2TDL.
Okay, I think I've managed to find my way home here. Okay, very good there, Rick. And your signal's quite nice there from the. I always thought that little KX3 was just handier than a button on a shirt, and you can do a lot with just with a small QRP radio. I've been using this thing for a long time. There's lots of other more more. Let's put it this way. There's a lot more in the if you like the SDR radio transceivers. There's a lot on the market, but you know, I just don't find the need for it right now. I guess I'm not extremely active. That's